Welcome to the threading video and information video on machine Kenmore number 6, this one right here. Your machine has the ability to do a number of different stitches, as you can see from the front of it here. But the thing that you're going to do with it in this class only is what is called a straight stitch. So the settings that I'm going to tell you are what you need to keep it on so that you are doing a straight stitch, and you should never really need to adjust things. But I'm going to let you know what they are just in case something happens and you do need to make adjustments. Okay. Up here is it says stitch selector and stitch and width. Okay, that's if you were doing a zigzag, you would want to decide how wide that zigzag needed to be. You're not doing that. So this knob up here needs to be on 0. So this little notch will be on the 0. Okay. The next knob down here is for stitch length. And it is important that you want your stitches to be not too long, because then your material will want to gather up, won't work so well, or hold together so well. You also don't want them to be so tiny and so many per inch that you can't ever remove them if you should decide your line of stitching isn't exactly what you want it to be. So where we usually keep this knob set is around 8, okay, right there. Making sure that your dot is up at the top, and you're good to go. The other thing to let you know on sort of this side of the machine is that this is your reverse. When I do a general demonstration about how to straight stitch on the Kenmores, they all have a slightly different reverse button. This one is yours. And what you do with your reverse knob is you will want to back stitch at the beginning and end of each line of stitching. And to do that, you hold down your reverse switch. That'll make you stitch backwards, then you let it go, you'll come back forwards. You'll do that one more time, backwards, and then let it go, and it'll go forwards. And that's your reverse knob. Okay, your on-off switch is down here. It's a little different. I'm almost wondering if it hasn't been replaced on this machine. Instead of clicking, like most of them do, yours turns. So to turn it off, you click it like that. Turn it back on, you click it like that. Okay, and you can tell that it's on or off because your light goes on and off. Okay, the other thing on this side is your flywheel, which is over to the side here, and it's right there. Turn it towards you and you turn the needle up and down. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and get it threaded. Your top thread. This machine obviously has been well used. It is missing one of its spindles. Normally you have 2 spindles up here. You only have the one, that's fine. You only really need one. Put your spindle on there. Put your thread on your spindle. Okay. Your thread then goes from the spindle over to this keeper, and it goes behind that and through that top keeper right there. Okay. Then it's going to come straight down and it's going to go through this. This is your tension mechanism. It is also a knob that adjusts. You will never ever want to adjust your tension knob unless you are in some sort of Zoom session with Julie and I, and we ask you to adjust that knob. It will come to you. We will adjust it here in the shop. We'll send it your way. And then you should never have to mess with it. That said, what you do have to make sure is that when you thread your machine that you are through the tension mechanism well. Okay, so take a look at it up here. It has these 2 little metal wafers back there, this little metal mechanism over to the side, and you want your thread to come down and go in front of this metal mechanism and between those little metal wafers in there. Okay, The next thing that your thread is going to do is it's going to come up, okay, and this arm right here will raise. So you want to push that arm back until your thread pops behind this hook right there. Okay, once that happens, let that arm go, and then your thread will be through the tension mechanism behind that and underneath this little arm. Okay, after you've done that, bring it through this keeper. Then you need to thread it through this little arm right here. Pull your flywheel towards you until you get that nice and high. And if I can get a good angle, I can show you that there's a hole right there at the top. And you're just going to take your thread and you're going to put it through that hole. Like that. Okay. Then your thread will come down and it'll catch behind that keeper. Okay, it'll come down, catch behind this keeper. Then there are two keepers right here at the top of your needle. It doesn't really matter which one you put it behind. I usually choose the one on the left, hook it in there, and then you're ready to feed this through your needle. Okay, this has a little bit of fuzz on the end. It's usually easier to thread your needle if you get a good clean snip on the end of your thread. And then the needle on a sewing machine generally always goes the direction of the bobbin, and this bobbin inserts from front to back, so your needle threads from the front to the back through an eye that's down at the bottom of the needle. Okay, there you go, and that's all done. Just to show you again, it goes from here over to this keeper, through that keeper, down through your tension mechanism, under, you pull this back, and then it hooks behind there. It's under that arm, goes up through this keeper, through this arm, down through this keeper, through this keeper, through the keeper at the top of your needle, and then through your needle. Okay, let's take a look at your bobbin casing. This is where your bobbin casing should be. I usually have it in there at the beginning of the video. I had obviously had it out for some reason. The bobbin casing is in there like that. And this door just drops down to reveal it. Okay, there's a little arm on it here. Okay, if you pull that little arm out, then you can grab a hold of it, pop it out, and there it is. Okay, your bobbin, again, this will come with a spool of thread with one bobbin already wound and one empty bobbin. Take your bobbin, make sure that the thread is coming off toward the right, and then put it in your bobbin casing with it coming off to the right as you're looking at it. Then look down at the top of your casing here and you see this little notch. You want to put the thread in that little notch, and then the thread will slip underneath this metal piece until it clicks up into that opening at the top. Okay, then it's spooling off this direction. Get my hand in your way there, like that. Okay, now you want to put your bobbin casing back in. This arm goes up. It's a little difficult to see, but if you look inside of here, there's a little notch at the top of the casing there. Yeah, there's a real shadow on it. But there's a little notch up there, and this arm lines up with that notch. You want to put it in till the arm lines up with the notch. Give it a push. That's a good click. And then it should wiggle just a little, but it shouldn't be spinning. It shouldn't be falling out. It should be in there nice and firm. Set your machine back down. Grab your thread. I usually do that with my left hand so that I can take my right hand and turn the flywheel toward me. Okay, which will move your needle down. Your needle will go down. Your thread will loop down and we'll pick up that thread down below and bring it up to the top. Okay, that's your bobbin thread that just came up to the top. Pull that out over to the side. You should have two threads to the side. close up your door, and you're ready to start sewing.